All right, if you are in your 20s, or maybe you're younger than that, maybe you're older than that, whatever the case may be, this is your gentle, friendly reminder that you can just do things for fun. I say this because I think when I look back at my early 20s and even just like, the phase of time when I was in high school, going into college, I think that I took life very seriously. And I still do to some degree, but I think that at that age or at that phase in your life, you feel immense pressure to have your life figured out, to do things and take your career seriously because everything feels so pivotal to your future. Everything feels like it's building up to whatever that might look like. And so I feel like you put a lot of pressure on yourselves to do the right things and always feel like you need to be productive, always feel like you need to be grinding. And I think that this has only gotten worse over the years. So many kids are doing side projects, they're taking up internships. People are always rushing to grow up and to be an adult. And I think that only in the recent years now, in my mid-20s, have I realized that there's so much that you can gain and so much more that you can get out of life when you remember that you don't always have to do things for the sake of productivity, for the sake of advancing your career, or for the sake of being liked or gaining status, money, friends, whatever. When you realize that you can just do random things for no particular reason, like the whole you have free will type vibe, it just opens up so many doors and, I don't know, allows you to enjoy life in a way that I feel like you probably did when you were a kid. Back when there was no pressure to perform in a certain way, no pressure to have everything figured out. I think that when I see people nowadays in my life who do things just for fun, it just makes everyone's life around them better. My friends and I like to call this whimsy. I think I have very whimsical friends where they will just host random things and do random things just for the fun of it. Some examples of this could be things like one of my friends, they had put googly eyes on the metro or one of the trains in, I think it was Seattle or Vancouver. No particular reason as to why that should be done. Why would a train need googly eyes? But it was just like a fun, random, whimsical thing that just brought people joy. Another example would be Maryland Steakhouse. You might have seen this online somewhere or even in like press articles, but basically a bunch of kids living in New York put on this fake exclusive steakhouse for a night, and they got all their friends to just like put on this fake restaurant. They made steaks, they took reservations, whatever, and for one night they ran New York's hottest steakhouse, and it was all just a bit. But again, it's just random things that there's no particular reason to do them. Like, it's not gonna advance you in your career or whatever, but it's just fun. It just keeps life interesting. Another quick example while we're at it is my friend Tommy. Last year in Toronto, he ran a marathon in a Minion costume. Now, that was to raise money for a food bank, but again, it's just like the concept of there's no reason as to why you need to do something in that way. If anything, it probably does not make sense to, but you have the free will, so why not do it anyways? Why not just host that event? Why not just do that random thing? Ever since I've started to see more of this in my life and the people around me, it's just allowed me to embrace life in a way that I feel like I lost a bit of when I was in university or when I was in high school, when I felt like there was a lot more pressure to be a certain way, follow a certain path. The other cool thing about doing things for fun is that fun things can turn into something serious, or they can turn into something even greater. Like, one random fun opportunity can spiral into a new passion or a new career even. There are so many things that can come out of doing things just for fun that you would not expect. So for example, in my life, I remember I was really into startups in university. And the mindset that I had was, I need to pick an idea or a problem space that is so impactful. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point in pouring all this time and effort and energy into something if it's not going to be impactful or solve the world's biggest problems? But what I realized is you don't have to boil the ocean to have an impact. When I started to do things just because I was interested in them and just driven through curiosity and nothing else, I realized that had a snowball effect that would lead me into inevitably having more impact and inevitably doing things that benefited other people positively, versus when I put a lot of pressure on solving the biggest problems. And I think the reason why is because the fun thing is simply fun. It's simply something that you want to invest more time and energy into, and it just feels natural to do so. the pressure is stripped away from the action, making it easier to get things done and actually put progress towards whatever it is you want to achieve. So in case you're in the boat where you're not sure if you should do something because it might be a waste of time or it might distract you or whatever it may be, I hope that you maybe think twice about that and maybe allow yourself to explore that rabbit hole or do that random thing just for fun and see what happens. But yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again, not everything that you do needs to be for the sake of productivity or to advance your career or whatever. Do things because you want to do them, and sometimes that is enough. And with that, I will see you in the next video.